Hello, hello. I wanted to share something really cool with you guys today, how to leverage brand archetypes to grow your business. This is a really cool little hack that I've been exploring for the past few years and thought I'd share it with you. Before I log in, just want you to know that there's a link down below to grab an additional resource that will help you learn more about these archetypes. And I've spent many, many hours researching this, and I put together a free resource for you that you can get access to by clicking below. And I'll show you a little bit more about that in just a minute. But basically, you can go register for free. And what you'll get on the inside is, among many other things, you'll get access to this full resource that I created that breaks down brand archetypes for you with lots of really helpful links and resources to learn more. And what this is really a quick hack to create a brand that connects with people. So today I'm going to show you a few big takeaways, and I'm not going to spend too much time on this today. It's going to be a quick rundown, and then if you want to dive in more, you have the resource available to you. But you'll learn how the world's best brands connect with their target audience. This could save you months or years of experimentation by using these proven models or applying these proven models to your brand. And this is really helpful stuff. So again, instead of having to figure this out on your own for many months or years, you can actually just go ahead and find basically pre-made brands that will help you develop the voice, the look, the feel, the personality of your brand. And it should fit what you're trying to represent, right? It shouldn't be like something totally different than what you're already doing with your brand, but it will help you refine it more clearly so that you can embody your brand more fully. And this will help you feel more clear and confident about your brand identity, which will help you move forward faster. So when you feel more confident and cohesive and in alignment with your message, your voice, your look and feel, you can actually start to create content more effectively, communicate more effectively, and it just gives you a great foundation to build on. And so what you're going to learn today, I'll go full screen for you all. What's up, Angelica? Thanks for joining live. Today, why archetypes are the key to making people fall in love with your brand. Some really good scientific stuff here. A breakdown of each of the 12 brand archetypes, how to choose your primary and secondary archetypes. Maybe you're like, oh, this one archetype is, I feel like I'm actually 2 or 3 different ones. So we'll talk about how to like find a balance between what you might be leaning towards. And then a quick recap plus some action steps. All right. So here's a quick breakdown. The brand archetypes are a scientific framework that the most loved brands use to connect on a human level. And you see here an example. These are the 12 archetypes: the sage, the explorer, the outlaw, magician, hero, lover, jester, everyman, caregiver, ruler, creator, innocent. And they all kind of have a primary, like, basic human desire that they match up with. So you can see some of the brands that match up with it. Like the Apple brand is the creator, innovation. Like they really tap into that with their marketing and like helping you express yourself more fully and create more of your vision, right? Using their tools and through music or whatever it is. And then Google is the sage, Jeep is the explorer, freedom, right? Diesel is more of an outlaw, like Harley Davidson. And they even show some characters in movies, right? The lover is like Marilyn Monroe, Chanel. The hero, Just Do It, Nike, right? Or I think that's like a NASCAR driver there or something. Or is that, no, that's Kill Bill. Is that what it is? Can't tell. Looks like it. Magician, right? You got the wizard here. You've got Disney, all that kind of stuff. It really starts to make sense. So think about it, right? We're going to dive into that a little bit more deeply, but you can actually embody one of these archetypes with your branding and marketing in your business, and it'll help you connect more deeply with your audience. So what is an archetype? Well, it's different than a stereotype, and it's kind of the opposite, actually. A stereotype is rooted in cultural norms, so it's learned, widely held, but fixed, oversimplified image or idea of a particular type of person or thing. So a stereotype is something we learn in our culture. An archetype is actually rooted in our DNA, and it's inherited from a more primitive mental image that's inherited from the earliest human ancestors. And it's supposed to be present in the collective unconscious. right? So that's kind of wild to think about, but it's just a deeply ingrained part of how we see the world, how we make sense of the world, like how our brain figures out what's going on around us. So it's deeply rooted in our brain. And so recently there's been a lot of breakthroughs with this over the past 100 years. Really, like the Mad Men era started to tap into this, and there's been a lot of research around how to use this for business. So archetypes are the heartbeat of a brand because they convey a meaning that makes customers relate to a product as if it actually were alive in some way. They have a relationship with it. They care about it. This was a book that really expanded on this idea and dove into it. It's called The Hero and the Outlaw: Building Extraordinary Brands Through the Power of Archetypes. So if you want to get that book and check it out, you can, but we're going to do a crash course today. And I have a lot of really cool resources to share with you later that will make this way more vivid. All right. So if you're a visual person, stay tuned and grab that PDF download. So the science, just a couple of basic things. They fulfill a basic human desire. And that's really powerful because if you can tap into that desire, right, that's the big idea here of these archetypes. You saw what they were, the freedom, the innocence, the magic, right? All these different things that there's like human desires that we have. If you can tap into that, studies show that a whopping 95% of our purchasing decisions are made in the subconscious mind. So when Apple has an ad that shows how you can create or take better photos or, do this cool stuff with your phone or your laptop or your iPad, that's tapping into the subconscious desire to be a creator. We all have that need to express ourselves and be more artistic and creative. So they tap into that with their marketing, right? So their whole brand is built around that archetype. And then if you can be clear and consistent and not be so broad, this is really huge. So brands with a tightly defined archetypal identities rose in value by 97% more over 6 years than confused brands or brands with characteristics from many different archetypes. So I see this all the time. If you're just getting your business going, you're trying to get your marketing together, your messaging, the look and feel, you might be feeling kind of scattered and not sure exactly what you should be, like how you should be positioning yourself and marketing yourself. Well, here's the thing. If you can refine this and just go more deeply into one of these archetypes and embody that more fully with how you express yourself and present yourself, you'll have better results. And it's as clear as that. Be clear and consistent, tapping into a basic human desire. And then tell your story. So Aristotle said that human beings are hardwired for a story, and the science of neural coupling revealed that we are 22 times more likely to remember a story than a fact. And that's pretty powerful now. So if you can start to tell stories through this lens and tap into that deeper desire of your audience, that's going to help you. So storytelling can be visual, the imagery, right? We've talked about using stock photos, right? GoPro is so good at that. They tap into that hero element of their audience, and their marketing is just all these videos of their customers, going out and doing adventurous things. So it's like a hero / explorer, right? Adventure, and tap it into that desire to be this leader, right? So they call it be a hero, and they show this exploring brand. So there's kind of two different archetypes they're playing with there, but they're really zoomed in on that, right? That's all they focus on, those basic human desires. And they do, the stories they show you are the visuals, the movies, the videos, which is obvious for them. But you can imagine like Dove skincare, right? They do a lot of storytelling, showing their customers the pain that they're dealing with and how they're overcoming these, like with their skin and how they see themselves in the world, right? There's a lot of like emotional stuff there. They tap into that energy, right? And they tell stories that tap into that deeper desire. So quick recap. Humans have a primitive and instinctual understanding of archetypes. It's in our DNA. Each archetype is associated with a basic human desire or emotion. And to connect with your audience, your brand needs to embody one of these archetypes. Couldn't make it any more clear for you than that. Okay, so how do you do it, right? Here's one way to think about your positioning. Your customer is actually the main character in this story, right? So when you look at it through story, and this is a powerful book called Story Brand. Donald Miller, love his work. Check it out at designhacker.com/story brand. And this is the framework that he uses that is used in all the top movies. And I mean, any good story has these elements, right? So where do you fit into this with your brand, right? Your customer is on a journey. Your customer is trying to reach some kind of goal or outcome, or feel a certain way, or experience life in a certain way. And they're either going to succeed in doing that or fail. And you are actually the guide. You come in and you say, I'm here to help you reach your goal. It's not about you, it's about your customer. So what type of guide are you, right? This is where the archetypes can come into play. What are you helping them overcome? What is that desire that you're tapping into? How are you positioning yourself? All right, so let's look at the brand archetypes. This will help you with your positioning. Are you helping them with their safety, right? Is the problem feeling safe or understanding or feeling this freedom? This is like their spirituality, a deeper desires of experiencing life a certain way. Leaving a legacy, liberation, power, mastery, the hero, the warrior, the magician, the outlaw. Pursue connection, intimacy, enjoyment, belonging. Or provide structure, service, control, or innovation. So after all my research, I found that these names, like they're defined differently in different places, but in general, you'll find them through, if you find one that you want to look into more, you could research like the innocent archetype or the sage. Or if you're looking at something like liberation, there's 3 different ones that I found for the most part: the outlaw, the maverick, the rebel. Mastery over here is often called the hero or the warrior. Innovation is the creator or the artist. All right, so you should start to zoom in on where you fit, and this could be challenging if you're not used to this. That's why I've created some extra resources to help you research a little bit more. But you also might be saying, "Well, I'm 2 or 3 of these, right? So I can't identify with just one. Maybe you want a few of these." Well, here's a way to balance this out. You can have a primary archetype, which is like the core archetype that is the primary personality of your brand. So you want to stick with that for the most part. Should be very obvious which one you are. And most industries kind of have a standard or a typical one based on what you're doing. You know, if you're in healthcare, it's going to be very different than if you're in car sales, right? Or in athletic apparel. There's maybe some overlap, but usually there's going to be a different kind of look and feel, right? If your business is all about helping children, that's going to be more of the innocent, right? Caring, versus if you're helping professional athletes, it's going to be a very different look and feel and energy and archetype and how you communicate. Or if you're helping entrepreneurs and business owners, right, it's going to be different than if you're helping an elderly person with their retirement planning, right? So it's going to be very different look and feel. So you can either match the industry standard, or you could be a little more out of the standard, right? Which could be very different, and that could help you stand out a little bit more. Another way to stand out is by harnessing in on that main one, but also adding a secondary one, which allows you to things up. So you can become a little bit more unique and incorporate some of your story and your personality by incorporating a second archetype into your brand that makes it more intriguing. That could help you niche down a little bit and connect more deeply with someone. So maybe you're a caregiver with a sense of humor, right? So you bring in the jester into this caregiving practice that you have. Or maybe you help people with intimacy and relationships, but you do it in a more rebellious way. So you have like an attitude and you're like, screw the normal way, or forget these apps. Like, I'm going to show you this other way of doing it, right? So maybe you're helping them with a certain thing, but you're incorporating a different type of energy into it that's more unique to you. Or you're more of a sage, like a deeper understanding, but you do it through adventure and like going out into the wild, right? Or having experiences versus doing it in a different way, right? So a couple ideas there and examples to play around with. But that should help you with that like balance of like, well, I'm not just one thing. I want to bring in this other archetype as well. So how to get started, you want to research these 12 brand archetypes and decide which one best represents your business. Study the brands in your archetype to see how they market themselves online. So once you start to zoom in on 1 or 2 that you like, start to study the brands that are within that category and see how they're communicating, their language, their visuals, and begin to develop your own voice within the personality of your brand archetype, and then try to stick with it. So again, being more consistent is going to be helpful. So it might take a little bit of practice or experimenting to find which one you are, but once you do feel the groove, try to stick with it, and then develop that more deeply within that brand archetype. So let's take a look here at this resource that I have for you. There's a link to grab it down below. It's totally free. And what I've been doing is researching this for a while, and I put together all the best resources that I've found. And it's all in this PDF. And I just want to show you an example. A lot of great little insights here and examples of the different brands, like archetypes and let me zoom in for you. What kind of brands embody that archetype? So the Outlaw, Virgin, Harley Davidson, Diesel, the Magician, Coca-Cola, Disney, Dyson, Intimacy, right? Victoria's Secret, Chanel. The Hero is going to be more athletic, like Adidas, Nike, even FedEx. It's kind of interesting to look into these. And I didn't create this stuff. I just found these resources for you. So it's just a kind of a culmination of all my research. I put it all in one PDF for you to look through. And then down below, I found a lot of good stuff here. So again, a breakdown of it, and then some links to learn more and watch some videos and check out some of those training resources. But then once you dive into it, let's say you want to look into that Maverick, Outlaw, Rebel, you could look into more of the information about them. I linked over to all those resources. And then what I found here that's really helpful are these Pinterest boards that help you see it in a more visual way. So here's the like Maverick archetype brand, and these Pinterest boards are great for seeing the energy of it. So you can see kind of the fashion, the look, the typography, the way they pose, the way they present themselves. So this is like the Rebel brand. And these are just different visuals of how this could be marketed and represented. So you would want to, if you felt aligned with this and you wanted to embody this kind of brand, you could start to study how these brands market themselves. And if it feels totally out of whack, then that's probably not a good fit for you, right? It should actually match your personality and how you want to be seen and portrayed. And if you're not in alignment with it, then it's not going to work very well, because the energy has to match. So it should match your energy. Okay, so you could be like, if you're teaching kids, it could be a Rebel teacher. Like it's still find a way to make it work. You don't have to it doesn't have to only match your audience. You can actually be creative and like stand out by being like a different type of teacher, right? Or a different type of whatever it is that you do. Let's take a look at a couple other examples, and you'll just notice the difference here if I scroll down. One more thing that's kind of fun is if we look at, let's just say the Jester, right? This is what I'm talking about when it's almost like a brand in a box, where you can see the summary, the archetype, comedian, entertainer. You could read through like their personality. It's all about having fun and living life in the moment. They're not only having fun themselves, they see it as their duty to be a ray of sunshine in everyone's life around them. They are optimists and can't be kept down long due to their ability to see the good in every situation. Jesters are young at heart and continue their childlike nature long after their friends have grown up and become serious. So you can just start to see how this really paints a picture of what your brand can be. And now you can look at the visuals of what that might look like and how it's portrayed in these Pinterest boards. So it's Jester, entertainer. And so it's a lot of fun visuals, blowing bubbles, like humor, more exciting colors, friendly, smiling, joyful, jumping around. All right, this is so helpful. So I love these resources. This is all available to you. Check it out. Grab it right now. And again, one more recap. Go back and just take a look at the very first graphic here, and then I'm going to wrap it up for this training. So it's really a scientific framework that the most loved brands use to connect on a human level. how can you incorporate this into your brand? And if nothing else, if you just start to study these and try to find one that you align with the most, and then look at brands that are embodying that archetype, look at their visuals, and that'll give you some guidance. And that PDF that I gave you, go ahead and go grab that now and start to study the one that you're most drawn to, start to study how it's described. And that could save you so much work of having to do that in your own head, right? When you sit down to like write out your brand, your personality, your purpose, your vision, your mission, that could be really difficult to do from scratch. So what these give you is a framework that is proven to be part of our collective psyche, which means our brains are already drawn to these. And now you can embody that more fully by using that framework. All right, that's all for this training. Enjoy. Let me know what you think. If you are drawn to one, why don't you comment below, or let me know which one you are, and share it in the group. Start to share anything that you find around this. And if you're feeling excited by it and you want to post anything or any questions about it, be sure to drop it in the group. I'd love to see some feedback on this, on how you can incorporate these brand archetypes into your marketing so you can grow your business faster, feel more confident, and get better results. All right, that's all for now. I will talk to you later.